all right. So now I got a very special guest in the building. My guy is an MC. Hence
Word.
the name. He's a very extremely dope person, man. I met this guy a few about 5 years ago, maybe. He's a father. You know what I mean? An entrepreneur, and one of the highlights of St. Louis, if you ask me. Welcome MC Trey to G Conversations. What's up, bro?
Love, my dog. What's poppin', man? That was a
What's
definitely
happening?
dope ass, humbling intro, man. I fucks. My
Yeah,
nigga, that's
yeah,
love.
man. You know, always the best for special people.
My dog, that's love.
Um, so I want to get into your life a little bit first, bro. Explain to me where and how did you grow up?
Ah, man. So I always say, man, I was a product of St. Louis. My roots in U City. You know what I'm saying? I was born like on the south side, bro, and then moved to North County, but I went to school in Kirkwood. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to, you know what I'm saying, go out there and experience, a different way of life on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? Be able to, you know what I'm saying, kind of figure out, how to walk in the world, in the white world, and then come right back, you know what I'm saying, to the city, in U City, where it was all my people, you know what I'm saying, and kind of get that balance. But like I said, man, I'm a product of St. Louis, bro. Like all ways, all the good and the bad and the ugly. You know what I'm saying? So I seen a little bit of all the sides. And but like I said, man, U City home. And like I said, St. Louis is, it made me exactly who I am. I can walk in any room, in any city, in any state. You know what I'm saying? And niggas know that you ain't from here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, did you grow up with both of your parents, or were they separated?
They separated when I was 2. So I stayed with my mom's though. So yeah, bona fide mama's boy, you know what I'm saying, protector, you know what I'm saying, and then pops, had his trials and tribulations, but came back into my life like right before high school. So like middle school.
Explain that process to me a little further, because the way I see you, you are a very stand-up guy, a very honorable guy. So explain to me the process in which it was to, like, I don't want to say accept your dad back into your life, but when that kind of came back around, and like what effect did it have on you before and after?
Man, it was like, he was an in and out, you know what I'm saying, type of figure, like, you know what I'm saying, all the way up to that point. That's when I kind of consider that being, the point where he became stable, you know what I'm saying. It was like he was all the way here, you know what I'm saying, because, he had his issues with drugs and shit like that. Went from selling to using, and using to selling, then locked up a couple times type shit. So, but that duality, man, like I said, we was kind of the conversation we was having before, man. I learned from, how to be the man that I am today from the things he did and the things he didn't do. You know what I'm saying? So like I took that shit in stride, and as opposed to taking that and, letting it weigh me down, I took it as gas, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know what I'm saying, model my character, my walk to make sure that I was, at an elevated level, as opposed to kind of the lower frequency that he was living on, and, that cost him the time with me and my family, and the times to where, he was off at school. You know what I'm saying? They told me he was at computer school and shit like that. I know everybody got that story where, your daddy got to go to school for a while, you know what I'm saying? So from that joint, you know what I'm saying, kind of just, and that was a point in my life too, where, like, I ain't gonna fake it, like, when I was at my grandma's crib the first time I found out he was in jail and he wasn't in school, it was like, we gotta collect calls from such and such, such, you wanna accept the charge? I'm like, no, click. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my grandma's like, who was that on the phone? I was like, oh, somebody calling from the jail. Like, who was that? It was like, oh my God, did you answer? I was like, no, why? You know what I'm saying? She was like, that was your daddy. I was like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 10, 11. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, why y'all lie to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, and from that point, bro, like, a lot of things that happened from that to, you know what I'm saying, some, like, certain drugs, certain things that I know I never want to be a part of and never want to be close to, you know what I'm saying? Like, these type of things kind of shaped, you know what I'm saying, my mentality and, you know what I'm saying, like I said, person I didn't want to be, the person I didn't want my family to be affected by, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be that guy, you know what I'm saying? And so I just kind of, like I said, took it in stride, bro, but I never hated him for it, because I knew, you know what I'm saying, when people get on certain things, certain substances, bro, that ain't them. You know what I'm saying? In the moments, you know what I'm saying, when that person there that you love, you care about, when they really there and they behind those actions and those words and what they doing. But, once you get older, once I got older, I was able to understand, like, he had to do what he had to do. He was put in certain situations, you know what I'm saying, and he reacted how he did. You You know what I'm saying? And that's just the consequences that came behind it. But, you know.
So I would ask you now, like, what's your relationship as it stands?
That's my dog.
Yeah.
That's my dog. We was able to come to that moment to where, you know, he spoke his piece. You know what I'm saying? He had to tell me, like, yo, this is what happened. This is why I did what I did. You know what I'm saying? And it happened, man, when after they found out I started smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? So, like, people started finding, my whole family found out I smoked weed because I put up this, I was in college, went to college, went away. I was outside. You know what I'm saying? So I put out did this mixtape, bro. I'm going to just tell you just kind of the lead up. Put out a mixtape, had a song called The Big Bad Wolf. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, buddy. Blowing like a big shot. Whole zip on the table fresh out of Ziploc type time. So I put this song out on 420 in my freshman year. Put that shit up on Facebook. This is right when, you know, your parents and aunties were just merged on the Great Migration of Facebook. When all them niggas got on there and was tweaking. It was like, why you put this up? Put some clothes on. Like, all that type of shit. Bro, the Great Migration, for real. My mama, everybody got the Facebook when that shit cracked. And then all that shit happened, boom, and started circulating. You know what I'm saying? Then my little cousin sent it to my auntie. My auntie sent it to my grandma. Then we having a whole family meeting. And I'm off at college. And my pops calling me like, man, he said, your grandma know you smoking weed. I said, yeah. He said, you told her you did? I said, yeah, I told her I did. I said, I'm not finna lie, Pop. I said, I ain't doing that lying shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna let you know what it is. And then when I came back that summer, me and him smoked together and had just laid all that shit out. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, I respect and commend how you handled that whole situation. Cause when my grandma used to like, you smoke weed? I was like, yes. Cause I seen what happened when he, you know what I'm saying, the road he went down. I'm gonna let you know, I'm just smoking weed. That's it and that's all. You know what I'm saying? It's not knocking me off from where I'm headed, where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So, but like as of now, they said we talk about any and everything. And he talked to me a little bit more than I would ever thought at this age, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like, as like a best friend, kind of like vent sometimes. And he's kind of wild how the tables, like you said, a circle of life. That shit happen, bro.
So I was going to say this question for later, but that brings me to fatherhood now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got a son, he's 7.
Right.
Explain to me that dynamic with you and your son, and you know what I'm saying? You just explained what it was like with you and your pop. So explain to me your relationship now with you and your son.
Man, I just try to be everything I needed when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, that person, you know, to kind of, you know what I'm saying, kind of let you know what's ahead before you get there. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of shit that I kind of found out, bro, I just kind of found out by running the walls my damn self. You know what I'm saying? No, mom's trying to tell me because mom's had a nice little, you know, ego sight. But like as of now, like I said, my little dude, he's 7. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's still figuring himself out. He know everything right now. Let him tell it. You know what I'm saying? So they niggas get growing up faster and faster. So I'm still trying to, you know what I'm saying, deal with, you know, fight his genes from his other side of the family. You know what I'm saying? To try to combat, you know what I'm saying, certain things. But I take it all. They saying kind of learn from what I wasn't taught and try to get that game to him now. You know what I'm saying? Give him something like what you want to do. You want to own a business, you want to do this, you want to play a sport. You know what I'm saying? Kind of lay all out the options and not, you know what I'm saying, kind of pick for him. You know what I'm saying? So that was a lot of shit that was kind of having me like, they was kind of pick some shit for me. I want to really have them open conversations, and that's one thing I do, bro. We talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I whooped my son. I ain't never whooped my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had conversations like, why you do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes it's hard for him to, you know what I'm saying, to kind of really get that off. You know, when you see your mom and daddy, sometimes you as a kid, you just start crying. You know damn well you weren't supposed to be doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? You just automatically get overcome with emotion. But you know what I'm saying, me and him have a more of an open communication. So it's like, yo, if you could give me a reason, you good. Yeah, if you give me a reason, you good. You know what I'm saying? But you can't give me no reason, you know damn well you ain't supposed to be doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I open that dialogue to where we're not just using physical force to just whoop kids and send them to their room. Because that's the type of shit that I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? On Pop's side, then on Mom's, it was like, you know, we was talking, having a conversation. I feel like having that dialogue, it helps with, you know, being articulate, being able to articulate your feelings and shit in those situations to where, you know what I'm saying, you don't necessarily know what to say. Yeah. So, you know, I just try to take, like I said, the things that I didn't have as a kid and apply them as early as possible. And just spend time, bro. That time is everything. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, bro. That, like I said, time is more important, more valuable than any shoes you could buy them, any piece of clothes, because they growing out of that shit. But when I tell, you know, my son, you know, don't do anything unless you got a reason, be grateful for the things you have, and then a week later, you heard him regurgitating that same stuff. They said, be grateful. I'm grateful for the things I have, Daddy. Thank you for this. You the best daddy in the world. Like those type of things, bro, you can't put a price tag on that. You know what I'm saying? Regurgitate things like that, you know what I'm saying? Not seeing him pick something up and do something and act like me, but saying, you know, I'm grateful for the things I have and things I don't have, and like really repeating the shit that I'm feeding him. Like you said, when unconsciously, like he ain't listening, but they sponges, bro. They follow my lead, and I'm grateful, you know what I'm saying, to have a son to do that, you know what I'm saying, to kind of sow into him as early, and then being able to have the means to, you know, have that time with him, for real.
So, you are a rapper, or you are an MC.
MC, Master Ceremonies.
Trey.
Yeah.
That's the name.
Thank God.
Explain to me how you got into rapping. Like, what made you want to take it serious?
Man, when I started taking rap seriously, I was in 5th grade. And no rap cap. Nigga, I went to see a Bow Wow concert. Oh, my mom, I went to see a Bow Wow concert. And before, me and my cousin was already like, you know, in the basement, you know what I'm saying, playing WWE and shit. You know what I'm saying, we wanted to create our wrestler type vibe. And we wrote our first raps on the Create Your Wrestler theme song on my mama in my grandma's basement. You know what I'm saying? So we just fucking around, you know what I'm saying? Then we was like, all right, you know what I'm saying, we want to do it, we think we want to do it. They bought me a Crisscross CD, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, we seeing that these little kids doing this shit, oh, we can do this shit too. Then they took us to a little Bow Wow concert, nigga, that shit was a rap. When I seen girls passing out, this little nigga my age doing, you know what I'm saying, running across the stage, full on production, I'm like, that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And then it blew my mind when I found out JD and T.I. was writing his bars, nigga. I was like, trash. I said, come on, cuz, let's get it. We way better than this nigga out the gate. I ain't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we been writing our own shit, nigga. We picked up dictionaries. We start reading dictionaries, the sources, nigga. I'm talking about 6th grade type time. You know what I'm saying? And then we started doing shows at Better Family Life, nigga, national night outs. And then shit, I just kind of kept, you know what I'm saying, honing in on the craft, bro. And the 8th grade graduation, I hosted the 8th grade graduation. I was the MC. That was the first time I was ever called an MC. And that shit just, you know what I'm saying, I was able to make the crowd say and do what I wanted to do. Stop playing. That was it, man. When MC Trey came in college, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think the first time I was called an MC was 8th grade, but then when I was in college, I was hosting a party with this DJ. You know what I'm saying? I was like, shit, I was trying to figure out how to get in the college community. I was like, my freshman year, like, shit, I need to figure out how I'm gonna get this microphone. I was like, I never hosted shit until I got to college. Then when I got to college, I found this DJ, actually my homegirl Gina, who do my videos and shit. She introduced me to this DJ, went and met with him. He had the little residency, so I went one day, he gave me the mic, got that motherfucker yanking. Then next thing we know, we looked at this other little space, got a space, opened up a space, was doing Mondays and Wednesday nights, well, Wednesday and Friday nights. Ever since then, it was like MC Trey. It was DJ Nick and MC Trey. Like, niggas was calling me that, you know what I'm saying? So at that point, that shit just stuck.
It's funny how that turned out to be your name, because I would call you a great master of ceremony, too.
Word.
As far as, like, every time I see you hosting, I'll be like, damn, this nigga look good.
Word, facts, I did, man. That's it, I love people, bro. You know what I'm saying? And if you give me a mic, let me talk, nigga. I do that all motherfucking day.
Because I know if I close my eyes and I hear somebody say word,
right, yeah.
I know who that is.
Your boy. Your boy.
Yeah.
On
so,
my mama.
As far as, I don't want to categorize your rap style because I've heard you do multiple flows and different things. But what I do want to know is, who was like would you say Bow Wow was one of your earliest inspirations? Since that was like one of the moments that you would say, like, I want to do this. Yeah,
I would say Bow Wow. You got to throw him in there. We got to throw the, you know what I'm saying, when you a kid, you know what I'm saying, you say Bow Wow, we seen Soulja Boy, you know what I'm saying, we seen that Nelly was the closest. You know what I'm saying, Nelly was obviously, you know what I'm saying, the closest influence to where it was like, it was real. It was somebody from where you grew up at. Your auntie and grandma them got pictures of him, you know what I'm saying, and shit like that. That you seeing this nigga on the Grammys, that was like probably the biggest influence. Like, if you from St. Louis and ain't one of your, you know, biggest influences, bro, just actually seeing somebody come from where you came from to do it, that's where I was at, you know what I'm saying? But then when I was able to grow up, you know what I'm saying, they start picking my own music, you know what I'm saying, choices and shit like that. You know, Kanye was big. You know, Jay-Z the greatest of all time. That's not from debate. Any debate? Nah, okay, cool. But nah, so but I think, yeah, that was some of my big influences, man. And then my pops was real heavy, like Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Biggie was like one of the first, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was always more of a Biggie fan than the Pac fan. You know what I'm saying? Niggas try to crucify me all day, every day, but as far as like the poetic style that Biggie had over a beat, that shit was untouchable, bro. You know what I'm saying? The way that nigga weave shit together, that shit was untouchable. And the storytelling. And that's kind of what I feel like I've started to adapt here too more as I get into, you know what I'm saying, later years of, you know, writing and creating. More storytelling, more of a paint the picture type shit instead of just, you know, pure emotion. You know what I'm saying, how I feel. I want to kind of take you from here and bring you over here by the time the song over type shit. And Biggie did that shit flawlessly, bro. Flawlessly. But yeah, so yeah, from Bow Wow to Nelly to Jay to Kanye to Lupe Fiasco to you know, Ludacris was big, bro. You know what I'm saying? And in the middle school, high school years, bro, like niggas don't really understand. I didn't really understand to that verses. And I know we seen the verses. Shout out to Nelly, but that nigga Ludacris is a fucking monster, bro. That nigga flows and cadences, bro, and I ain't realize how big I was influenced on Ludacris till I listened to the verses. I'm really sitting, I'm like, God damn, something like the character that he got, bro. Come on now, that shit was unmatched, bro. That shit was unmatched, and I really realized, I'm like, damn, that nigga is probably one of my more major influences too. And I wasn't even, you know, unconsciously thinking about it, but.
So, you are a part of Frat House.
Facts.
Along with A-Gang.
Facts.
Tristan.
The family.
Explain to me how they came together. What is Frat House?
Man, so before Frat House, bro, it was DY. So this was before niggas went to college. You know what I'm saying? So it was DY, the Dynasty is what we called ourselves. All right, I'm giving y'all this some exclusive interview shit right here. So we was DY, we was the Dynasty, you know what I'm saying? And so with so many niggas named the Dynasty, you know what I'm saying? When it was like, somebody was like, y'all gotta figure out a new name. You know what I'm saying? So we got the Dynasty off, then we kept it DY, right? So it was DY, so we was DY for a while, you know what I'm saying? No real like definition of DY, what the fuck that was, but you know, of course, we was all just family at first, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I met Tremaine in middle school. Then he introduced me to Lil Mark playing, well, A-Gang. I call him Lil Mark. But introduced me to him. It all started in basketball.